Hi, my name is Ian Kaye. I'd like to discuss with you today voice placement for singing and speaking. The first thing I think we should discuss is the anatomy of the instrument itself. Of course, the thing that we should understand is that it's a wind instrument. The voice is a wind instrument. Now we've got to get air into the lungs. Now how do we do that? The correct way of doing it, of course, is to expand your diaphragm and push down as you're inhaling. And then your stomach is expanded and your lungs should be full. The air doesn't go into your stomach, it goes into your lungs. Now once you've got the air into your lungs, you got to get the lungs you got to put pressure on the lungs to get the air out into your voice box, which is here, through the vocal cords, and then into your back of your throat and the mouth, and then you got to decide where you put it. You've got to put it where your resonators are. Now we have many resonators in the human anatomy. For example, you got the hard and soft palate, you have the back of your throat, you have your entire head is all bone and cartilage, starting at the base of your skull all the way up. Your forehead is bone and cartilage. Your nose, of course, we call this the mask, your teeth, your jawbone, these are all resonators. Now these resonators, when you're singing and speaking, they're all working all the time. However, especially when you're singing, I even use all my resonators differently when I'm speaking, but when you're singing, you have to favor certain resonators over others. Why? Because the vocal cord automatically adjusts to pitch. So you don't have to worry about that. But once the vocal vibration or sound waves is in your mouth and in the back of your throat, you got to move it someplace. Now, where you move the sound waves will determine how well you sing. But one thing is for sure, you never sing forward out of your mouth. Because when you're singing forward out of your mouth, you're putting your vocal cords too tightly together. You're going, ah, ah. The vocal cords are so tight, they're vibrating, you're creating heat and friction, and you destroy your voice. So no matter where you are in the singing process, you never sing out of your mouth. The sound will go out of your mouth by itself. Now, why does that happen? Because even if I'm putting the sound in my head, it bounces, the sound is enhanced by my skull. And then where does the sound go? The sound, some of it comes out of the top of my head, yes, but the bulk of it goes out of my mouth. Now, why would that be? It's because the sound waves, which are moving 600 miles per second, they go to the area of least resistance. It's easier for the sound waves to move, and they've got to move and they want to move. It's easier to move out an open mouth than to go through my solid skull. So the bulk of it will go there. It's like you take if you have one of those balloons, like one of those long balloons that is not completely solid filled. If you grab the balloon at one end, the air goes to the other end with force, right? And it becomes hard up here, right? You move it by where you put the pressure on it. However, if I'm squeezing that air against the top of the balloon and the pressure is there, and then I take a little pin and I stick it on the bottom of the balloon, where's the air going to go? It's going to go from where I was putting it right out of the hole. So it goes the same way. It's like a guitar. I'm talking about a regular guitar, not an electric car. And you go, the sound doesn't go forward. The sound comes backward into the wood that's attached to the strings. It's enhanced and enriched by the wood, And then from there, in the vibration, some of it emanates from itself, but the bulk of it goes back frontwards through that hole that's in the middle. And the voice works very much the same way. So, just to go over the process again, you take a breath by pushing your diaphragm downward. The air sucks into your lungs, then you put pressure on your lungs either with your rib cage or your diaphragm by moving it in or out. And the air starts to go up, goes through your vocal cords. The vocal cords transform the bulk of the air into sound waves or musical vibrations. And then you got to move it somewhere. And the way you do that is by favoring certain energy or certain resonators, certain resonators over the others, depending on where you're singing pitch-wise and so on and so forth. So let me just show you. I'm going to start by putting the resonance in my ribs, and then I'm going to move it up into my head, step by step, and then backward. Ah, in my ribs, ah. Now I'm resonating it back here. Back into my ribs. Or I can do it this way. I can go up until the mid voice. I'm inhaling the sound. Now I engage my nose a little bit. I don't put too much pressure. Then I go from here back as I sing higher. Okay? So let me sing a little song for you, and then we'll discuss exactly where I'm putting the voice with each note. Memories press between the pages of my mind. Memories sweeten through the ages just like wine. Quiet thoughts come floating down and settle softly on the ground like golden autumn leaves upon my feet. I touch them and they burst upon with sweet memories, sweet memories, like holding hands in red bouquets and twilights trimmed in purple haze and laughing eyes and simple ways and quiet nights and gentle days with you. Memories press between the pages of my mind. So on and so forth. Now what am I doing here? I take a breath and then I put pressure on my lungs by either squeezing in with my diaphragm or pushing down with my diaphragm or using my ribs a little bit to put pressure on my lungs. I take a breath. My voice is going, the sound waves goes into my throat, in the back, and I'm shoving it down my throat. It's happened so quickly, it happens instantaneously. Memories. Now it's in my middle voice. I'm taking back here. I start in my ribs. Memories. Back to my ribs, press between the pages of my mind. It's vibrating off of here. Memories sweeten through the ages just like wine. Quiet thoughts come floating down and settle softly to the ground. I'm bringing the sound to the back of my throat, and it's shared. The major resonators are now is the base of my skull and my chest. Not all in my chest like before. It's sharing it. And when I'm doing holding hands, like holding hands in red bouquets, I'm going right off at the top of my head. Like there's an opening in the top of my head, and I'm singing right out of the top of my head. Not out of my mouth. I never sing out of my mouth. I'm singing straight up out of the top of my head. Like holding hands in red bouquets and twilights trimmed in purple haze. Now that one I shoot right off of here. You go from one end of your skull to the other. It gives your voice a nice coloring. like holding hands in red bouquets and twilights trimmed in purple haze and laughing eyes in simple ways and quiet nights to the back of my throat, quiet nights and gentle days with you, memories, so on and so forth. So you see what happens here is that you sing to your resonators. You don't sing to your audience. You don't speak to the person you're speaking to. When you're speaking, you never sing out of your mouth. You sing up to your hard and soft palate. Say, hi, how are you? Good morning, how are you? I'm not going, hi, good morning, how are you? I'm going, hi, good morning, hello. Nice to see you. How are you today? You're always singing up and back to your throat. You never sing forward. You never sing forward. You never speak forward. I hope this has been of some help to you. And if you'd like, leave me some comments on the YouTube, and I'll be glad to answer them if you have any questions for me. Thanks for listening. This is Ian Kaye saying so long for now. Bye-bye now.